Welcome to Martha Hughes Cannon Middle School. MHC serves students in grades 5 through 8. Students are 10 to 14 years old. Student population is diverse. The school is a series of buildings connected by walking paths, organized into a tier of core subject area buildings skirted by buildings designed for deeper learning projects in the afternoon. Our mission at MHC will be to develop confident citizens who have skills in a variety of areas related to their interests. Graduates of MHC Middle School will have experience in collaborative problem solving and skill in accessing information from those around them, both peers and adults, in addition to the world at large. Our vision for MHC is to base our success on relationships. Relationships between students, teachers, parents, and community members will be the guiding force in helping students develop the 6 C's. Students and mentor teachers will design a plan for learning based on curriculum requirements and individual interests. Our values include prioritizing positive relationships between all individuals, being calculated in determining coursework that aligns with student interest and core knowledge, and choosing educational activities that are presented and chosen in the context of the interest and usefulness to students' present or future life circumstances. Our goals will be making teachers who are comfortable translating state standards into projects. Standards of proficiency within the core subject areas will be clear, common, and measured. The administration will provide professional development to help teachers build relationships with students in effective ways and develop the dispositions through the 6 C's and academics. We'll enter through the front office. So in this area, there's a space for assistant principal's room. We also have a nurse's office back here, secretarial desks, and a principal's office. When people enter the school, they pass into a common area that includes the cafeteria and a PTA room over here that we'll visit later. You'll notice empty bulletin boards on the walls. These spaces are designed to be filled with images of students' deeper learning projects. I'd like to talk about standards and curriculum, so we'll go to the faculty room. This space is designed to be exclusive to teachers. They will collaborate in this space, eat lunch in this space. Faculty parties might take place here. There's a kitchen area, and in the back, there's a copy room with spaces for teachers' boxes. You'll see 4 areas of bulletin boards on the wall. These are for the 4 core subjects: math, science, ELA, and social studies. Each area has a corkboard for each of the 4 grades taught at our school. Teachers will be asked to select essentials in the 4 core subjects. They'll put their essentials on the corkboards in the faculty lounge so there's a clear vertical alignment. Our standard and curriculum goals will be focused on the associated knowledge, skills, and dispositions. Teachers will discuss knowledge that students should have. Teams will discuss each standard in terms of the concrete knowledge needed to master a standard. Do multiplication facts need to be memorized? Must students know literary terms? Team will determine how this knowledge will be assessed, and dates will be set for when this knowledge should be mastered. Teams will discuss their decisions and share justification with other teams for each essential. Adjustments for alignment and continuity should occur throughout the year. Teachers will also discuss skills that students should have. While certain concrete knowledge is critical for success, skills and dispositions are often greater determiners of success. Andreas Schleicher, Director of Education and Skills of Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, suggests that this creates a new dynamic for graduates who will not be paid for what they know, but rather for what they can do. So teams will discuss what students should be able to do in terms of real-world application and determine how those skills might be evaluated. Each teacher will be asked to develop 3 deeper learning projects in their subject area, with the idea that more will be developed later. Skills might be assessed in these deeper learning projects. Rubrics and assessments should be reviewed or developed for these evaluations. Teams should consider ideas for real-world projects that will help students practice these skills to solve a problem or build something that might be of interest to them as individuals or as a group. Teachers will also discuss dispositions that students should develop. Teams will determine which of the 6 C's could best be practiced in the teaching of each essential standard. As a school, we'll break down dispositions into sub-skills. For example, communication might be broken down into a list of informal mini lessons a teacher may share on the spot. Eye contact, speaking slowly and clearly, pausing to think about your audience, organizing your thoughts before you share. As a school, we'll create a list of questions to ask ourselves about student behavior to measure their dispositional development. A Google Sheet will be created that teachers from all subjects will contribute to evaluating students' dispositions with anecdotal evidence to be presented with report cards. Next, we'll talk about pedagogy. To do that, we'll walk to our classroom. Classrooms are designed with flexibility in mind. One space may serve many purposes, and there are places for individual domains as well as shared areas. Each room will have modular furniture, such as desks and chairs, that students can move themselves to facilitate different group sizes and project needs. Private spaces will be available to house projects that individual teams or teams might be working on. Core subject areas at MHC Middle School will be asked to develop a minimum of 3 exploratory projects with the intent that more will be developed. These projects will incorporate the core knowledge taught through direct instruction or other methods, skills developed using a to, with, and by model, and dispositions. Teachers will consider how parents must be involved to share expertise, support independent projects, or conduct research or building projects outside of school. To support teachers in this, I'll share examples of deep learning at the beginning of the year. Teachers will present from the Brookhart article to develop common ideas about what deeper learning looks like. Throughout the year, teachers will be invited to share their deeper learning projects for commentary and celebration. Faculty will also be invited to participate in a question prompt contest each month. Teachers or teams will post questions or prompts anonymously online, and the faculty, staff, and parents will individually like submissions they feel are deep and engaging. The teachers or teams who receive the most likes at the end of each month will receive some small reward or honor. Physical places in the school will be dedicated to sharing images of students engaging in their deeper learning projects. There will be a few project photos representing various projects so that students, teachers, and parents can see what deep learning looks like in other classrooms and be inspired by the work of others. As an administrator, I will ask teachers to invite me to their classrooms when developing deep learning activities are happening. The end goal is that the classroom is in a perpetual state of deep learning, but will begin with a minimum of 3 careful projects. For assessment and grading, teachers will determine essential standards for each subject based on research. These essentials will appear on a standards-based report card that will go home monthly. Parents will receive an outline for the planned learning for the year and explanations of what they might see on the different report cards. Teams will work to develop activities and assessments for each of the essential standards that demonstrate a student's deeper learning. These might include portfolios, performance assessments, and culminatory projects. They will be required to develop assessments for the 3 deeper learning projects they intend to incorporate this year. Teachers will be encouraged to consider the learning of the students throughout the process, not just the end of a learning cycle. Their assessment methods might reflect the process as well as the outcomes. On professional development days throughout the year, teams will be selected to share what they've developed with the school for productive, critical commentary and celebration. To evaluate dispositions, anecdotal data from the dispositions Google Sheet will be shared with parents on the monthly report card. Students will also be invited to evaluate their dispositional development with anecdotes of their own. Teachers will be invited to periodically talk through a chart like the one on page 153 of Deep Learning. They'll use this to consider when they'll have opportunity to observe the dispositions and what they might look for in specific circumstances according to grade level. MHC Middle School will participate in end-of-year testing, and teachers and parents will be invited to look at the data for celebration and improvement. This is an aerial view of the school. We have up here the main office, the commons area and cafeteria space, and the PTA room. There's the faculty room we just visited, and one classroom. The app didn't give me enough space to fully realize the campus, so I included just one model classroom. But this is what I would have liked. We have a health and PE building, a performance and general gathering space, and this art and building room that we'll go look at in a minute. I'd like subject level classrooms to be housed in the same building so teachers are more inclined to collaborate with one another. A second tier of buildings back here will house the 2 arts and building rooms, the gym, and the performance room. MHC will require students to meet the state credit requirements for 5th through 8th grade. Students will spend 4 one-hour class periods studying language arts, social studies, math, science, and health and PE. These subjects will alternate each day on an A-B schedule. Teachers will be hired for their expertise in art, foreign language, music, dance, theater teachers, and they will all have K-8 licenses certifying them to teach core subjects in the morning. They will be expected to be knowledgeable and committed team members within their core subjects. Grade levels will eat lunch at intervals and be allowed to socialize inside or outside during their break. After lunch, all teachers will teach an ed technology and media course with leanings towards particular subjects, science, music, history, etc. These focuses will be determined based on student input on forms at the beginning of the year. Students will choose the technology and media course based on personal interest. This course will prepare students for research on their particular individual project they'll work on for the rest of the day. Students from all grade levels may take classes together, and the teacher will focus the curriculum around the interests of the students in the room and introduce students to others with common interests. So for example, if a student was working on a music project, the teacher might introduce them to favorite websites or software for composing music. If a student was working on an astronomy project, the teacher might use the research, the technology, and media to introduce the students to tools related to astronomy or familiarize them with groups in the area who also like studying astronomy. The last period of the day will be dedicated to students' individual projects. At the beginning of each semester, the teacher of the Ed Tech and Media course will meet with each of their students and determine what their individual or group project will be. Students will be assigned space in the classroom of their Ed Tech Media teacher for housing their project. This teacher will be their mentor for the semester and possibly the school year, depending on the projects the student chooses. The mentor teacher will encourage the student to incorporate learning from their core classes into their project. The teacher will help the students develop a project based on interests. The student might dedicate their time to building something or working and learning about the school garden spaces. A student might develop himself or herself physically and learn about sports medicine and training theories, or spend the 2 hours dedicating themselves to an instrument and the body of work that was written for it. Musical groups might be developed. Language groups might be formed based on student interest. The kitchen might be open for students interested in culinary arts. The teacher may help the student arrange internships, individual or group field trips, community partnerships, or grant writing to gain resources. Deeper learning projects for solving particular problems will be developed in the classroom and encouraged during 2 hours of personal development. But this time is set aside for students to explore and develop themselves in whatever they might have an interest, regardless of the potential benefit to society. So after they spend time in these core classrooms, they might stay in the classroom depending on what their particular area of interest is. Maybe if it's a language, they would stay in a classroom like this. But they might also visit other spaces in the school, like the performance room, which is over here. The common meeting area, and they have individual practice rooms that students might study in. They are interested in health and PE related things. They might go to the health room and the gym, which is here. They might also go to one of these 2 building and art rooms, which are just flexible spaces designed for a lot of different things. You have individual computer spaces, collaborative spaces, storage boxes, room for art and cleanup of art. These may look like regular printers, but they're 3D printers. We have pottery. I included wood just to indicate the students might be building. There's a radio here. This is a less formal space. It's a workspace where students might be working on projects at their own pace and in groups. So students might come here, depending on what their project is and where their teacher is working. If students have a particular interest in gardening, they might also spend time in the school garden. It's located just off from the lunchroom. So might spend time here. The lunchroom has also been designed to facilitate people working in it beyond just lunchroom workers. It's a big space, so students might be participating in cooking something together or learning something to cook. All right, I'd like to talk about community outreach, parents, and public relations. So for that, we'll go to the PTA room. I wanted a space designed specifically for parents so that teachers can feel that their area is private and they don't have to worry about interrupting a PTA room, and so that parents have their own space in the building. I tried to make it not especially feminine or girly. I picked things that were neutral because I want both fathers and mothers to come to this area. If PTA needs to house a project or hold a meeting, they can come to this space to do that. Our message to the community will be that our school is a space where students are valued as whole people. The messages that we send out will focus on both the academics and social-emotional learning of students. When visiting the school or school website, images of students' individual and group projects will be visible. We'll also be transparent about our academic accomplishments and areas in need of improvement. A parent investigating the school might be invited to a school community council or PTA meeting in this room to better understand the culture of the building and feel like a welcome part of the community. Investigating parents will be directed to the school's social media presence and to positive school ambassadors in the form of teachers, students, and parents, and they might meet with those individuals in this space. At the beginning of the year, teachers will receive a short training on school communication. As a faculty, we'll discuss how our school mission and how that might be reflected in every email that is sent. Perhaps a signature quote will be adopted by all faculty that will appear at the bottom of every email sent from the school. This idea will be repeated around the school physically and digitally, reminding all constituents of the year's mission. Fictitious emails will be shared in the beginning of school meetings for teachers showing insightful or careless consideration of audiences, to remind teachers to consider how their communication might be received by students, parents, coworkers, and community partners. Teachers will also discuss what kinds of information should come from what sources at the school. Each year, the school leadership team will consider what's been effective or lacking in the past with regard to communication. Data will be gathered through forums to set effective new goals. Notifications and alerts will come to parents so they are informed what they might expect in terms of notifications and what communication will look like in the event of an emergency. A mail blasting partner will be identified to learn from data gathered from emails. The student will have a Facebook page and Instagram account managed by the administration. The school will have a private YouTube channel. Teachers will be invited to share videos with the principal, which may be posted on the channel. Google Analytics will be used to gather data on the school website. A third-party service will be used to obtain reports on text and voice messages. The administration will periodically check social media metrics and send surveys to evaluate the effectiveness of communication. Secretaries will be trained to accommodate requests for students' records in accordance with the FERPA Act. The school website will be ADA and 508 compliant. Teachers will be encouraged to maintain an online presence, whether through a class website, Google Classroom, Seesaw account, or other platform. They might have a private Instagram page, but should also have a space for academic information. The office team maintains school social media sites that are updated regularly with both academic and social information and celebrations. The school marquee includes important dates, positive messages, and personal shout-outs to students, parents, and staff when appropriate. Parents will receive a monthly newsletter from the administration giving them important data, as well as a vision of what is happening culturally at the school. Finally, I'd like to talk about leading learning. For that, we'll go to the principal's office and end there. And I do intend to add doors to these offices. At the beginning of the year, a short video with images of students, teachers, test scores, and the building will be prepared, asking fundamental questions about the school's mission, vision, values, and goals. Questions will include: what were the school's mission, vision, values, and goals last year? Why do we exist at a school? What is our purpose? What are the 3 most important things we hope to accomplish as a school? How will we use the 6 C's to accomplish our mission? How will we use our mentoring model to accomplish our mission? What are concrete goals you can set to accomplish our mission? The video will be shared at a teachers' meeting before school begins with an invitation to participate in a public Google chat group to share ideas. The video will be shared at an early school assembly, and students will be invited to share their ideas about where they think we could implement the 6 C's and what kinds of support they'd like to see from their mentor teacher. Their ideas will be shared on 2 groups of posters in the hallway, and classes will visit at their mentor teacher's discretion. The video will also be shared at the first PTA and school community council meeting. Parents will be invited to a separate Google chat group to share ideas. The leadership team will review a principal-curated selection of ideas from all 3 groups and set fewer than 5 goals. At least 1 goal must be a goal related to academics, and at least 1 must be a goal related to the 6 C's. At least 1 should be a short-term goal. Public space in the school will be dedicated to photos of the realization of our vision. The goals will be shared with teachers in a collaboration meeting, with students in classrooms by their teachers, and with parents in a newsletter. Each month, the list of ideas will be revisited, and at least 1 new short-term goal will be set by the leadership team. At the end of the school year, the teachers, students, and parents will rewatch the brief video and reflect on the progress made and what should come next. To build trust, I'll look for opportunities to prove my integrity by making promises and consistently keeping them. I'll assure families and staff and faculty that I will set aside a specific time for classroom visits, be transparent with data and regularly explaining decisions and celebrating success, regularly ask the students, teachers, and parents for input on school decisions through Google Forms. At the beginning of the year, I will share a school calendar that includes events to draw the faculty together in relationships outside of teams and roles. Administrators, secretaries, cafeteria workers, janitors, and janitorial staff will be invited to a book club, holiday parties, luncheons, movie nights, and a retreat. Attendance will be optional but celebrated with photos and videos compiled by a school community committee. When possible, family members and parents will be invited. Each morning, I'll greet students by name during bus duty. Once a month, I'll eat lunch in the cafeteria with students. Teachers will be encouraged to know the names of all students in their grade level by the end of the first 2 weeks. In terms of addressing conflict, group conflicts might be addressed using the CAR strategy. Proposed change will be defined and all moving parts considered. Proposed ideas will be analyzed with efforts made by multiple individuals on both sides of the issue to identify every potential challenge that can be thought of. Finally, the situation will be reframed, having considered different aspects of the problem. A clear solution might be apparent, or another cycle of CAR may be in the works, when more information has been gathered to determine what the envisioned best possible outcome might look like. Anthony Muhammad shared 6 steps from Patterson's Crucial Conversations. He also describes a system called FRISK, used by a team of attorneys for documenting employee performance that is not satisfactory. A combination of Patterson's 6 steps and FRISK is used whenever confronting an employee. 1, I will choose what pattern or relationship is at the center of a conflict and what will happen if no confrontation occurs. 2, share facts to describe the problem and impact on the school. 3, allow space for the individual to share the rest of the story. 4, ask a clarifying question indicating my understanding of whether the problem is a lack of motivation, skill, or both. And create a plan with specific roles and dates, follow up, and be prepared to meet again. When warranted by repeated lack of engagement or critical needs based on circumstances, a system of professional monitoring might be implemented. It will be done professionally with a sense of empathy and belief in the possibility for change. The focus will be on making the individual feel more like a part of the community than less. Words of Bruce Lee, life itself is your teacher, and you are in a constant state of learning. At Martha Hughes Cannon Middle School, we hope to help all within our community better access the education that is life and be developed into lifelong learners and uplifting community members. Thank you for visiting. We hope you come back soon and try the delicious churros in the cafeteria made by our own students.